Welcome, everyone, to Masters of Travel Advisor Series. My name is John Warner. I'm the president of Mass Travel Network. We're a network of over 205 travel agencies spread across the country with 1,600 travel advisors specializing in travel all over the world and many international destinations. And one of the destinations we're going to speak about today is Switzerland. And I have a special guest on the show today, Gina Bang with Avanti Destinations. And so, Gina, would you like to tell us who you are with the company and what you do?
Absolutely. Well, thanks so much for having me on today. As John mentioned, my name is Gina Bang. I am the Chief Sales and Marketing Officer here at Avanti Destinations. I hope you've had a chance to travel with us before, but if not, just to let you know, we are a tour operator, which means that we source and put together lovely customized trips for every single one of our travelers. These are completely personalized to your specifications, and we work exclusively with travel advisors. So, your favorite travel advisor, oftentimes they're calling us, and we are putting together all these fabulous touches to make sure that every part of your trip, before, during, and after, it's exactly how you imagine, because we know that you spend a lot of time trying to get to these exotic and beautiful destinations around the world. So we're always trying to find new, interesting things to make your dreams come true on the ground, whether that's, spending time with your friends and family, if you love shopping, museums, history, culture, cooking, eating, wine tasting. We have all sorts of fun activities for you and all of the best hotels that really have a sense of place. So we always try to find things with local character and charm in a great location. So after we kind of overindulge in breakfast, we can just walk out the front door, start walking around, and really experience what that place has to offer. So we're based here in Portland, Oregon. Our headquarters is here. So we have about 95 people in the office here working every day to make sure that these trips come to fruition. We work with the airlines, rail lines, car rentals. So all of the things that you really need to have a fantastic trip. We have people on the ground, of course, and people in our office as well. So thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah, it's wonderful, Gina. We really thank you as well and Avanti Destinations. And in fact, that's why our members love working with you, our travel advisors, because you do it all. You can and plan, help them plan the perfect trip for their clients. And of course, there's so many wonderful destinations that Avanti offers around the world. It's not just Europe, but South America and Central America and Asia and all kinds of other places as well. So there's a lot of wonderful destinations we can talk about, but we are going to talk today about one of your favorite destinations, and that is Switzerland. And just to kind of start out with, Switzerland, of course, is a small country geographically, but very diverse when you think about the cosmopolitan cities like Geneva and Lausanne and Davos, which are have international importance as well. But typical Swiss alpine cities such as Grindelwald and Lucerne, Zermatt, and then you have the world capitals of Zurich and the glamour cities of Saint Moritz. So why is Switzerland special to you? What makes it one of your favorite destinations?
Well, I think that, just being right in the heart of Europe, Switzerland has so much going on for it. Like you said, it's a very small country. But of course, with those mountains, like those travel times are still long. And we've heard, of course, over the years, all of the great Swiss contributions to our daily life, like amazing train rides, watches. They have this mysterious, delicious wine that they never export, they just keep it for themselves. But what I really connected with the people there. So I travel all over the place. I'm so fortunate to be able to be in the travel industry because we just have some of the best people in this industry. I have to give a shout out to my colleagues out there. But I think Switzerland also is really the home of international hospitality. So there's a lot going
Yeah.
on there in terms of how to be a professional in the hotel industry, how to provide an amazing service. It could be half an hour, 2 hours, half a day, a
Mhm.
full day, and you feel like you have just absorbed a new culture because
Yeah.
I feel like the Swiss really understand travel and
Mhm.
they really want to make an impact on every single person that they encounter. They're very proud of their small country, and they should be because it's a super high quality product that they have. So,
Yeah.
everything from their sustainability missions, from a
Mhm.
hotel standpoint or a service provider, that's one of the reasons why, even in Switzerland, the people there, this even up to the CEOs of huge corporations, they take public transportation. They
Mhm.
are, rubbing elbows with every single person every single day when they're out and about. They really value quality in food, in wine, and they're very traditional, but they're not scared of the modern.
Yeah.
So I think that on that level, when guests get to go to Switzerland, the expectation is almost exceeded on every trip. It's such a high um, service level that, something as simple as street food or going on a boat, it can be just like the best time. So that's one of the reasons I love Switzerland. Of course, the people, as I mentioned, like everywhere you go, people are very accommodating. They will speak English. They will often lend a hand. So if you are searching for something, because in Switzerland they speak four languages, they have
Yeah.
four national languages. So you're going to find someone that can speak English no matter where
Yeah.
you go. So that's always really fun. But just to give you a little bit of insight on the actual location, because I think Switzerland kind of gets like lost in the mix of Europe. So it's
Mhm.
right in that heart of Europe, so that small country. And Switzerland itself, you might not know this. I learn all these fun facts all the time, but CF, or sorry, CH is
Yeah.
the country code for Switzerland, and that's because it is C stands for canton, right? So instead of states, they have cantons, and so it's the cantons of Helvetia. So CH is what they go by on their country letters. But of course, for such a small country, they also have like all these cantons, the largest one being Graubünden, where they have still one of the oldest languages left to survive. It's called Romansh, and it is an offspring of Latin that is still spoken. There's still street signs. It's really fascinating to hear it. I can't say almost anything in Romansh, but they also, of course, speak in the north, it's mainly German, and then to the west, it's mainly French, and then to the south, right here, it's mainly Italian. So it's really fun to be able to travel in such a small country, have
Mhm.
four very distinct languages, food influences, architectural styles, and yeah, it's super accessible. You can have lunch, or sorry, breakfast saying, Guten Morgen. And
Mhm.
then by the end of the day, you could be cheersing Santé in French to toast off
Right.
your day,
So
which is
true.
always
Very
really
true.
fun. And I
Yeah.
think more and more, especially for us in North America trying to get over to Switzerland, there are more international arrivals than ever. Of course, most are going to be coming right into Zurich if it's not nonstop from North America. There's several airlines now that get you to Zurich. But if you do have different airlines that don't have that nonstop service from your gateway, there's tons of connections coming from, either London, Charles de Gaulle in Paris, different airports like in Frankfurt. to get people into Switzerland, into some of the regional airports, which I think just makes it really nice, especially if you're having, to fly into one airport and out of another. So you're not kind of like circling back on those trips. And all of your best travel advisors, they're going to give you all the best routing to get you into and out of the country in the most efficient way. So this is really great. There's more airlines coming in. And I would just also like to mention, if I can, even though Switzerland is small geographically on the footprint, it's very tall. So even
Mhm.
in some seasons, like it can be like spring almost, half of the year. So, Switzerland itself is great any time of year. They're very well equipped for all seasons. Maybe the toughest one, though, I would say, is summer because air conditioning is not prevalent throughout every single area. But they are very prone to like opening the window and having that fresh mountain air come into the room. So in the major cities like Zurich, Geneva, you're definitely going to have, those five-star hotels with AC, but something just to keep your eye on if you're traveling to some of the smaller places that you mentioned, John, like Interlaken, Lausanne, into Ticino. Some of these places, they're just not going to have AC. So just something to keep in mind
Yeah.
if that is a huge priority for you.
Well, one of the earlier slides, I think the iconic images, one of the iconic images for people about Switzerland, of course, are the lakes and the Alps, and of course, Central Switzerland features a lot of lakes. There's boating opportunities. You have the Alps with gondola rides and views from what is called the top of Europe.
Mhm.
What experiences can travelers enjoy in that part of Switzerland?
Oh man, it's like a playground, almost anything you can think of outdoor wise and indoor wise, you're going to be able to find. And there's no time like the present to try it because actually, with the dollar and our high valuation right now, like it is less money on the ground to travel throughout Switzerland, which is, I think one of the common perceptions of Switzerland is that it's very expensive, which of course, any trip that you go on, of course, you can always find these great upgrades and these great experiences, but always budget enough money to have the experiences that you want. So at the top of Europe, I was I was so fond of this excursion. So I actually, there's lots of different ways to get to top of Europe, Jungfraujoch. There's a bunch of different names for it. A lot of people access it from Lucerne or Interlaken, Grindelwald, Wengen. There's a bunch of towns right around that area. Some are smaller, some are larger, but it doesn't matter because all of it is connected by rail. It's super easy to get up there, take those gondolas or the cog wheel
Mhm.
rail. You can
Right.
also do some hiking there. This is at the platform at the very, very top of Europe, which is um, I have to say, for me, I was totally fine there. I live on the West Coast, so we're in the mountains quite a bit. But some of my travelers that I was with, they are from Chicago, Cleveland. One lady was from Cincinnati. So they're not in high altitude very often. So we
Right.
definitely started by, taking that train up to the station at Jungfrau, and here we did a rest. So we just sat down, had some tea, kind of let people acclimate a little bit to the altitude before we started walking around. When we arrived, as you can see, it was a full on whiteout. So we didn't get to see much of the views, but it
Oh,
was
yeah.
still spectacular because literally at the top of Europe, any time of year, you could have four seasons in an hour. So it can be
Yeah.
snowing, raining, it can be sunny, Bluebird Day. It just is, the weather. So and
Yeah, I can
high up
see in
there,
your picture there, the background does show it being the weather is not clear for
not
sure.
clear. And I grew up in Alaska, so like I'm very comfortable with not clear
Yeah.
in terms of mountain hiking, but it was still really fun. It was very exhilarating, I have to
I'll
say.
bet.
I was with one gal who she had never really seen snow before, so this was
Oh,
for
well,
her. Yep. And yeah, so this was really fun. And then here, so it's not just like you go to the top of Europe and that's it. There's so much going on here. So there is one of the largest chocolate shops, the
mhm.
Lindt chocolate store up here.
Oh, hey.
So that's fun to shop around there. There are these amazing ice caves. So inside of the mountain, you can walk around and there's ice sculptures. They have a fun exhibit on Ice Age. So they have some of the characters there, which is great for any families traveling together. There is some beautiful restaurants. But I would say the main attraction is, especially if the weather is like this on this day, this whiteout, you can still access the glacier. So you can walk out on the glacier and you can try, like we did, to do some snow angels out there. It's
Yeah.
really cold and windy, but it's really fun and how can you say no to that? There's
Yeah.
some great also it's called like Winter Wonderland, so it's also inside one of the ice caves, but you get to learn a little bit more about uh, the Advent time or Christmas time in the Alps. So that's really fun too. And then
Yeah.
just around top of Europe. So once you're done, this is pretty much like a full day tour.
Yeah.
So
I'll
you're
bet.
gonna
Yeah.
catch that train early in the morning, and when you're up there, you want to walk slow, give yourself enough time. Of course, you have to have lunch and just like watch all the weather moving through. You have to go to the chocolate store. It's a must. Go to see the ice caves. But then, at night, you can go back down to one of the villages or to Interlaken or back to Lucerne, walk around. There's so many markets out, great places to eat. And all the scenery is just gorgeous from
Mm.
up high or in the valleys.
Yeah, it sounds awesome. One thing to point out when you were talking about uh, uh, cost in Switzerland, it's important to point out that Switzerland is on its own currency, the Swiss franc. They're
Hmm.
not on the euro,
Yeah.
but you can cross the border between Switzerland and the other countries around it, in France, Germany, Italy, and so forth. You can cross the border like other EU countries. But anyway, let's go back to again one of your also favorite places within Switzerland, and that is Lucerne. And
Yes.
and I think a lot of people know of Lucerne. They feel it's like a primary must-see destination in Switzerland. So what do you recommend that travelers see and do there?
Okay. Well, Lucerne is insanely beautiful. It is like that postcard that you see in your mind when you're thinking about Switzerland. It has all of those elegant buildings, all the elegant architecture. It has the church bells every hour. It's very romantic. It's on Lake Lucerne, of course, and it's just surrounded by mountains. So the scenery couldn't be more epic. You get some amazing sunrise and sunsets there as well. I have a picture that I'll share with you. It is, I would say, probably for Avanti travelers, the number one destination that we sell.
Mhm. Sure.
So it's just checking so many boxes. It's extremely walkable. There's
Yep.
still public transportation with the trams and buses. It is super close to Zurich, so you can get there in an hour. The trains are running from Zurich like every hour on the hour, so it's really convenient. There's a variety of hotels, so some smaller hotels, there's luxury hotels. And of course, you can go out on the lake. There's some kind of like hidden resorts now that are
Mhm.
outside of town that you can get to by boat. And then right from there, you can do all of these amazing mountaintop excursions. We talked
Right.
about Jungfrau and the top of Europe, but there's also some smaller ones that you can do in half a day, like Mount Rigi. It's called the Queen of the Alps. It has some really cute old cogwheel trains there. You got some amazing views. Has a nice brewery up there where you can get Really nice. Actually, they had like the best mac and cheese there with all the local cheeses. And of course, like their amazing brewery that, they brew everything on site there. You can do some amazing hikes, mountain biking, all of those great outdoor activities. But if you're like more cosmopolitan, there's some amazing art galleries here, parks with beautiful statues and history. I think it's like every other night, they have a farmer's market. So you can just like walk around the old town, get some samples, buy some fresh bread, fresh cheese, and just have a picnic. So I absolutely adore Lucerne. It is so charming and it's just like a very nice pace. It's never too crowded. Of course, you have the really famous Chapel Bridge that you can see
Mhm.
there with the water tower. It actually burnt down completely, almost completely in the 90s. So that is a recreation. But you get to hear, I mean, when you're in the bridge, it's a covered bridge, there's all these fresco paintings. So it follows the story of how Lucerne was founded. So it's really interesting. Yeah, and it's just very, very easy to be there. It's one of those places when you sit down and you're doing your pupil watching and you're having your nice glass of wine. It's one of those places where people think like, oh, I could live here. Like, I wonder how much it is to live here,
Yeah.
or like Zillowing.
Well,
It's
it
definitely
is
one of those
it's
places.
a very walkable city, and I know the main rail station is right
It's right
next
in the
to
city
town. Yeah,
center.
it's really in the
Right.
heart of everything, so you can
Yeah.
walk. Um, but again, we're talking about the diversity of the country. The southern part of Switzerland is resort-like. In the regions that border Italy, Lake Lugano, Lake Garda, not too far from Lake Como, which is entirely within Italy itself. But the region features palm trees, kind of a Mediterranean climate. As you pointed out earlier, it's the Italian-speaking region of Switzerland.
Mhm.
Um, so how popular is the area for the tours that, Avanti destinations can plan for for travelers?
I will be honest with you, it should be more popular. Like it is so good there. You go, like you said, it has there's this bus line that goes from Zurich down to Lugano. It's called the Palm Express. It used to be a postal bus, so they used to like, you know, they would hand out the mail from this bus route before the high-speed train came down. So I personally have not been there, but several of my colleagues have, and they absolutely adore it. It's kind of like a Lake Como, but in Switzerland, which just means that the apparently that the boats run on time. That's what they tell me. I have no judgment over here. But of course, it has like much more of that northern Italian feel. So you're gonna get a lot of fresh lake fish. You're gonna get some beautiful risottos there. It's gonna have that Mediterranean climate, very much more relaxed, especially for Switzerland. I would say the other place that's kind of similar to that is kind of like on Lake Geneva. So they call that the Swiss Riviera. And combined with like Lugano and Lake Geneva, it's kind of like the holiday areas of Switzerland. Very popular with locals. But I would say for Americans going over, it's still kind of like off the beaten path.
Yeah,
So
right.
definitely plenty of opportunity to one up all your friends and get there first.
Yeah, very true. Um, Also, I think um, travelers and people have seen the pictures of the trains in Switzerland.
Mhm.
There, and the Swiss, of course, are known for being on time for everything. So the trains are like a special part of travel within Switzerland. And so the stunning scenery while you're riding the train, some of the famous trains like the Glacier Express and the Bernini Express. Tell us about these scenic trains and the experience that is on board the trains.
Sure. So, um, train travel in Switzerland, I will just start here. I get so many questions about Swiss trains because first of all, on the schedule, it just doesn't seem possible that there's like, a 5 minute connect time. But even on these scenic trains, like everything is so well marked. There's attendants there showing people where to get the next part of the journey. It's super easy. The trains runs very frequently, city to city. And the beautiful part is that you're right in the city center every time you board and get off of the train, right? So that makes like that type of travel very convenient. It's also, of course, very sustainable, and it just keeps a lot of traffic off the roads, which makes traveling in Switzerland like so idyllic because you're walking around, you're not hearing like, people honking or anything. Well, maybe if there's like cows in the road or something.
Yeah.
But I included this picture because trains in Switzerland take all sorts of shapes and forms. There's the scenic rail that you had mentioned. So the Glacier Express is definitely the most famous. That starts and ends between St. Moritz and Zermatt. So those two towns are kind of like the bookends to get from point like from one city to the other. It's a full day. It's like 11 hours on the train, and you're passing through, all these great valleys. You're seeing mountain peaks, all the different villages and towns, waterfalls, rivers, every kind of natural element is going to be on that route. It goes almost all year round. They do take some breaks throughout the year for maintenance, but even in deep winter when it's all snowy out, you can still do that. I think it's maybe one of the most spectacular times of seeing Switzerland is all donned in snow. But there's also like different classes of service when it comes to these scenic trains because the top end of the Glacier Express is called the Excellence class. It is, I don't want to name any prices, but it's the highest price point, and you get I think it's a 7 course meal while you're on
Wow.
board. Each
Wow.
course represents a different canton or state that you pass through from St. Moritz to Zermatt, and it's paired with the local wine as well. It's all very fancy with white linens, and I think there's like some silver domes also on the
Wow.
plates that, like you're greeted with local champagne and all sorts of really nice details. So that's on the top end. Of course, like that car, you're gonna have like a floor to ceiling panoramic glass window. So you're gonna see every little bit of that scenery. Then you kind of have like first class, so one below excellence class, where you have the panoramic views. I think it's a 3 course lunch with wine and yeah, spectacular views. And then there's the standard class, which I don't believe has any meals included, but there is also a bar car. Many of the locals tend to do that class and they just bring their own lunch with them. They have the normal windows, but still it's that spectacular route.
Yeah.
So more and more, there's more scenic trains. So there's also one from Interlaken to Montreux, so kind of from the Alps to the Geneva area. That's gorgeous. It goes through Gstaad, which is one of the most like luxurious high-end places of Switzerland. It's where like all the celebrities buy their houses, including I think Madonna and I think Oprah has a house out there. So that's the kind of um, scenery that, it's just gorgeous out there as well. Different, like more sloping mountains, not like these very, I would say, dramatic mountain peaks, but also a little bit sunnier on that side of the country. There is the Bernina Express. There's also now like the Gotthard Express that goes north to south. So there's a lot going on with scenic trains within Switzerland. They don't always all go all the time. So you really have to work with your advisor on what your priority is to make sure that if the Glacier Express is a priority to you, you have to book it really well in advance as soon as you can because of course it's limited. There's only like maybe I think 2 trains per day during peak travel. and then one train per day in non-peak travel months. So if it's important, I would book it early, get those seat reservations locked in. We can help there, of course. And you do need, even if you have a point-to-point ticket, you do need a seat reservation. And you do, if you have a rail pass, you do need a seat reservation every time. So just keep that in mind. In terms of rail travel in general in Switzerland, I always recommend that Swiss travel pass. It's a
Right.
rail pass, but it also includes public transportation. So, like those city trams and
Yeah.
buses. Even like in Zurich, it has the lake steamer boats. So some of those, 1 hour cruises, you can even take the sunset one that's included in that rail travel pass, Swiss travel pass, sorry. And yeah, it includes like discounts on some of those mountaintop excursions, like to the top of Europe, discounted rates on the scenic trains. You still have to buy the seat reservation. And a lot of the museums within Switzerland are actually free. So it's a great value if you are doing multiple days within Switzerland.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's a good recommendation to have the Swiss travel pass. Um, Switzerland is also world renowned for watches and the banking industry, pharmaceutical industry are prominent industries there. Does Avanti get requests for arranged tours of the factories for travelers, that have special interests in these areas?
I would say most often people want something hands-on. So I haven't heard pharmaceutical yet, but we do quite a bit with watchmaking. And we work with a company in Geneva actually, where you can either make your own watch, which is a longer process, or you can do a watchmaking workshop where you
Mhm.
learn more about the history of watchmaking in Switzerland. Um, Long story short, like it is a lot to do with the religion, the Catholics coming or leaving certain areas and then trying to find refuge
Mhm.
within Switzerland. So mainly the Jacobites coming to Switzerland and the different technical aspects that those people had when they moved to Switzerland, embracing some new sciences like sundials, timekeeping, and then implementing this into devices such as pocket watches, which then moved to wristwatches. So you get to learn this really fascinating history from
Yeah.
actually very young people that have industry knowledge from working for like, Patek and Rolex in those really famous uh, companies, and then coming together to really talk about like why they love watchmaking as
Yeah.
as an experience. So they kind of like uh, really explain and make it fun of like why watches. Then they kind of teach you about the elements of a watch, like the different flywheels and the dial and like what each piece does. Then
Yeah.
you have your chance to actually like take it apart and try to put it back together, which was nerve-wracking. And then, yeah, and then you can learn even more about like the watches that they've made themselves that they sell there
Mhm.
on site, or even discuss about creating your own watch together. So something
Yeah.
completely customized to you. Really interesting. I think it was the number one thing I did when I was in Geneva.
Well,
I really
it's
enjoyed it.
It's so interesting. I didn't realize. I mean, I think, I know it's a huge industry there and they're world famous. But anyway, yeah, the history it sounds really interesting. I mean, the Jacobites and everything, they were from Scotland.
Mhm.
So yeah, no, that's interesting. I never knew that about all the history. Um, but anyway, so, food and culture. We got to talk about food and culture.
We
I know
have
you
to.
mentioned about some special wines there that they don't even export, but
Don't export it. Yeah, they have something called like a white Merlot.
oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah, so
okay,
like we hear like these murmurs of these wines, but you can
yeah,
never find them because They don't export them.
Right.
But I have to say, like, I knew it was going to be good. Like most European countries, they have foods that are delicious. And of course, who doesn't love chocolate and cheese? That's
Yep.
probably what they're most famous for. But this is just a picture I took when I was walking around in the Zurich Old Town. Here, the street food is oysters and champagne.
I know that's so.
I was like, this is my kind of place. So this was like on day one. I arrived, I'm walking around, I see this. I'm like, oh, looking up
Yeah.
Zillow house prices.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, and chocolate, of course. I mean, everyone
Oh my
knows
goodness.
Switzerland is famous for that. Lindt is the leading chocolate company based there, and does Avanti does arrange chocolate tasting tours? Then I
Oh,
would
of
imagine.
course, of course. Well, Lindt, their facility has, it's insane, the largest chocolate fountain in the world. It
No,
is like several stories up. Like you take this
really.
elevator
Yeah.
and then you see this like chocolate waterfall basically, but it's
Wow.
but it's like a 360. It's like all coming in.
Hmm.
Like imagine that aroma when you walk in though.
Yeah.
It's just
Wow.
so comforting.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's like on a constant chocolate fountain. It's amazing. But yeah, of course, like, who doesn't love going to the place where things are made? So
Hmm.
that's just right outside of Zurich Old Town. You can actually take a boat right to that
Hmm.
facility and do a tour there. There's tons, I mean, an obscene amount of chocolate shops in Switzerland. It seems like every corner. Like here in Portland, we've got coffee shops everywhere, chains, independent, like you can't like throw a stone and not hit a coffee shop here. It's the same there, but it's always with
It's
chocolate.
chocolate.
It's with
Yeah.
chocolate.
It's
Yeah, and they
chocolate.
have some fantastic, I would say every hotel kind of has like their own signature chocolate, so you can try
Hmm.
those.
Hmm.
There's, every sort of like coin, toy. They have like a replica in chocolate as well. So there's just like they have a lot of fun with it over there, and they're sourcing their cacao from all over
Hmm.
globally. So they
Yeah.
also try to teach you about, ethically sourced cacao, how it's actually grown, the processing of it, how it, I think they call it from bean to bar. So like how it
Yeah.
goes from the
Right.
pod to the chocolate bar, and what they think are good blends, like what the ratio should be, how much sugar should be in them, the flavoring, so like from nut to fruit to there's all sorts of crazy inventions
Sure.
these days with chocolate now, and they keep exploring. So like how do they make like chocolate paint and all
Oh,
sorts of
well,
different types of media for chocolate.
yeah. How
And of course
neat.
and of course cheese, which is like,
Well,
I don't
yeah, cheese. I mean, you have Gruyere,
know, Gruyere,
Emmental.
Emmentaler, the
Um,
raclettes. There's
oh,
a
yeah, the smelly raclette, but
smelly
it tastes so
raclette.
good.
It tastes
And
amazing.
yeah, and so I mean, you do cheese tasting tours as well. Anything with food, I guess.
Anything with food. Yeah.
And then
And
another.
I was just going to mention that there's actually like a specialty train
Oh,
near
okay,
Montreux that
okay.
is called the chocolate and cheese train.
Oh, okay, that would be
So
neat.
they do the tastings there, and then you
Yeah.
visit a facility where they make chocolate or cheese.
Yeah, yeah. Montreux is near. I mean, that's the Gruyere area, I think, of Switzerland, where they have make Gruyere cheese. Um, have you tried? There's another famous dish in Switzerland called rosti. It's
Roasty, yeah.
yeah, it's like a potato pancake. So it's
Yeah.
greasy, but it's so good. Have you tried that?
Yeah, it's like a hash brown.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it's good. I have to say, like my carb of choice is probably pasta or bread, but I really like the roasty. Tastes
Yeah,
good. But I think I like if I'm dipping something in fondue or raclette, it's like going to be a boiled potato.
right. Yeah.
That's my go-to.
But that's different. That's
Yeah,
different.
it is.
Yeah. Well, that's great. So a couple of other popular craft industries, I wanted to find out if Avanti gets requests for these, but like wood carving, embroidery, those are also very, very popular. Uh,
Hmm.
musical instruments such as the alpenhorn, very unique to Switzerland, long,
Oh yeah.
wooden curved like type of horn. So have you done tours there that take in those kind of experiences?
I don't think we have seen like an since we're selling to individuals, like one, a
Mm.
couple or a small family, we haven't seen a ton of requests on crafts in Switzerland specifically. We do see it in other countries, but I would say most people going to Switzerland, they love shopping for the crafts. The one thing is the Alpenhorn. People really want to try that.
Yeah.
So we do have some experiences coming up in 26 where people can try that out very close to Wengen and Grindelwald near the top of Europe. So that is
Mm.
coming soon. And yeah, some of those Alpenhorns, they are huge, like 12 feet long.
Yeah, right,
And it's
right.
like, I don't know. I was never musically inclined. I don't know what sound I would make if I blew into that thing.
Uh, well, of course, we talk about iconic scenery. Of course, one of the real iconic sites of Switzerland is the Matterhorn.
Of
So I
course,
think you have a slide to
I
show us about
do.
the
Yes.
Matterhorn.
I just have to have a quick interlude because look at how cute this puppy is. That's the other thing I love about Switzerland. Like people can bring their dogs pretty much anywhere. So there's
Yeah.
always like really good puppy infusion when you're walking around.
Right.
Oh, and sorry, this is Chillon Castle, which is
Oh,
outside of Montreux.
okay.
Just another beautiful site that, like, I would say not a lot of people know about. So
Great.
very amazing setting there, right on Lake Lucerne, just south of Montreux City, that you can kind of see in the background. This is Interlaken, so just kind of like
Mhm.
this is a very tall mountain. Of course, you can't see the top of it,
Right.
but Interlaken means between two lakes. So there's like a west and an east side of the town. Um, but I would say that, there's no bad day in Interlaken. Even on this cloudy day, you could still see all the paragliders up in the sky, and they land right in the big lawn right in the middle of town, which is really fun to see. But there she is, the Matterhorn. So it's that pointy mountain right in the middle of the photo. Clearly, I'm not on the ground. I was actually flying from Barcelona to Frankfurt. So if you're ever there in Europe and you're kind of near Switzerland, you think the flight path might go over Switzerland, always look out the window because you just never know what you're going to see. But the Matterhorn, of course, it's the most photographed mountain in all of Europe, the most famous. The town to access it is called Zermatt, so it's the end of the Glacier Express. It is 100% car free. So you actually, if you are driving, you will park your car outside of the little village of Zermatt, and then in Zermatt, it's just all pedestrian friendly. So lots of shops, restaurants, very charming, really nice. And there you can also go up into a gondola situation and actually get into the mountains. There's a ton of hiking trails there. You can actually go into more ice caves in
Wow.
right around the Matterhorn. This area also is super popular for skiing and snowboarding, ton of winter sports. So sometimes you'll see people like on social media, they'll be posting pictures and literally the Matterhorn is right behind them. And we offer lots of charming little inns and hotels here with Matterhorn views. So that's always really nice too to wake up in the morning, open those windows and see the beautiful Alps right from there.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, obviously for, adventure seekers, sports enthusiasts, you talked about hiking. I know there's a lot of hiking opportunities. Um, but if you had to say, describe, let's say, a good Switzerland sampler tour or the best of Switzerland, um, somebody who has only like a week or so to go there, what kind of an itinerary would you recommend?
Okay, so me, I loves Lucerne, as we already mentioned. I think this is a great itinerary. You can do it year round, but I think that winter is probably the most underrated season for Switzerland because they're getting so many passengers now from the river cruise industry going into Basel. So a lot of people are going from April to October. I love wintertime myself personally. So I like getting out there. I love the quality of light in the winter and all the really um, robust wintertime foods and all of that cheese that's melted.
Yeah, the cheese, right? Mhm.
So I personally really think that like no itinerary, like if it's your first time to Switzerland, you, of course, you have to fly into Zurich anyway. You can do it at the beginning or the end of the trip. Lucerne is 100% must do. It's like what your mind is thinking, like that's what it's picturing when it's thinking of Switzerland. So you have to go to Lucerne, Interlaken, that is that soft adventure capital of Switzerland, and it's right pretty much in the middle of the country. Montreux, that was where that castle was that I showed you on the lake. Um, the Gruyere cheese, raclette, that's all from that area. Zermatt, where the Matterhorn is, and then you can do part of the Glacier Express from Zermatt to Kur, which is in that Graubünden region where they speak that dying language of Romansh. And then from Kur, you can just take the train back to Zurich. So this is a nice kind of circle trip that you
Yeah.
can take where you have beautiful lakes, mountain peaks, scenic trains. You have the German and the French speaking areas of Switzerland. And yeah, you can definitely do it in a week without having too much on a transportation day.
Yeah. No, it sounds like a great itinerary and beautiful. And as you point out, I mean, the in the winter and everything, that is a spectacular time of the year to be there. So this sounds wonderful. Um, so anyway, Gina, I have one last question
Sure.
because I think this is important for travelers to know that they could take advantage of it. Of course, you have a program called the Avanti Advantage, and it's like an exclusive amenity program. So why would travelers benefit by this program? And when their travel advisor works with Avanti, to plan the travelers' vacations.
Sure. So, we launched this program just over a year ago. And, I know a lot of companies have different types of amenities and exclusive offers out there. And at Avanti, we work with some amazing hotel partners across the world, but a lot of them, they just don't have that presence in the US. So
Mhm.
it's hard for them to like really put their value proposition out and make people understand like out
Yeah,
of the millions of hotels, why is this one so special and so
yeah,
great? So we kind of work on the back end with them. We don't work with every hotel on this level. We just work with the ones that have a real sense of place, that really have warm hospitality, that are in destinations that our clients are going to. So in Lucerne, for example, we work with the Grand National. I stayed here myself in 2022, which is where all of these pictures are from. So, they're not those stock photos. Those are my photos from my phone. But the Grand National was a former palace. When you arrive to this place, it is stunning. It has that old European charm, and, we have a lot going on with this hotel to begin with because our contracted on our contracted rates always includes daily breakfast, the hotel taxes, as along with the room rate. But our guests that book through Avanti exclusively, they get upgrades upon arrival, subject to availability. That's also another reason why I love the winters because you often get those upgraded rooms for free, which is amazing. And then they have these beautiful bars and restaurants in the hotel. The bar there is, I don't, it's like out of a movie. They have that long wooden old-fashioned bar, checkered floor. You go in there and you really feel like you're like in a different country, which is like spectacular. Every cocktail, every glass of wine is superb. They have a gorgeous restaurant, very select menu. Of course, they can accommodate any kind of allergies or dietary needs. And there, our guests get 10% off of those facilities. So
Mm.
it's a nice little perk of booking with Avanti if you so choose. But in our program overall, we have over 100 different properties that have different types of experiences and value adds for anyone that books with us.
Yeah, that's so nice. Oh, that and that hotel is palatial and has a
Mhm.
prominent location right on Lake Lucerne. You can see it from everywhere, so it's
Yep.
really impressive. And but anyway, that anything else you'd like to say as we wrap up?
Yeah, I mean, for Switzerland specifically, if you haven't been, I feel like the next year, so going into 2026, is going to be some of the best times to go because a lot of people are still talking about Jubilee in Rome. They are still, kind of going back to Paris after the Olympics. There's going to be a huge spotlight, of course, on Northern Italy with the Winter Olympics coming
Yep.
in.
Right.
So if you are going, you're interested in that, Switzerland is such an easy connection to
Mhm.
do a multiple country trip.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be scary. Taking the train actually is a feature
Yeah.
of any European vacation. And yeah, we have a bunch of information, videos, images. So if you do have something specific that you're looking for, please reach out to your advisor. We're often able to help you with those special requests.
Mhm.
And we really look forward to introducing you to Switzerland and the amazing hospitality, the clean water, the high value for dollar when you're on the ground there.
Oh, that's so amazing. Thank you so much, Gina. We really appreciate it, and it would be everyone would have a great time in Switzerland. I can say that for sure. But thank you very much for joining us today, and we really appreciate it.
Thank you. It was so much fun talking about one of my favorite places.